Hello and welcome. You're watching Next IS English. Today we are going to discuss a very important topic of geography and disaster management. So the topic is Mount Semeru in Indonesia, Hayli, Gubbi in Ethiopia. Is the world seeing more volcanic eruptions? Explained. So basically, two major volcanic eruptions have occurred within days of each other. As you have already, I think you might have already heard, one has happened in Indonesia and another in Ethiopia. Indonesia's Mount Semeru has burst into activity on November 22nd, followed a day later on 23rd November, Ethiopia's Hayli Gubbi, erupting for the first time nearly in 12,000 years. Now that's a big news. Let us get inside this news. Let us see what all happened and what all are important things that you need to keep in mind for your examination perspective. Before getting into the topic, let us understand the UPSC relevance of this topic. Why is this topic important for civil services examination? So first of all, in GS paper 1 geography, this is a very important topic. Why? Because volcano types, plate tectonics, rift systems, African plate dynamics, all these are important keywords that you need to know, that you need to learn before getting into this topic or after you go through the video. Second is GS paper 3 disaster management. Again, it becomes very important topic for disaster management as transboundary atmospheric hazards, aviation disruptions. These again two important topics. Then for GS paper 1 and 3 environment, aerosols, SO2, transport, climatic implications again becomes very important topic. And let us now understand the prelims relevance as well as the mains angle. So talking about the prelims relevance, the locations become very important, like Mount Semeru in Indonesia, Hayli Gubbi in Ethiopia, Afar region, East African rift system, EARS. So these are the keywords that you need to learn about, that you need to understand. And then the concepts like shield volcano, triple junctions, stratospheric circulation, again these concepts become very important for your prelims perspective. For the mains angle, questions like explain how continental drifting leads to volcanic activity and discuss transnational impacts of volcanic eruptions. These questions become very important, and you can go through these questions, and we will also be discussing some of this in the video. So let us get to the point now. So let us understand the background of the news. What is the background of the news and why are we talking about this today? So two significant volcano eruptions happened in 2 days. In late November 22nd, Mount Semeru in Indonesia, and then November 23rd, Hayli Gubbi in Ethiopia. Now, why are these eruptions happening one by one? Is the world moving towards its end? A lot of people have been saying that, but no. That has not been proven yet. Yes, eruptions are happening. Let us understand why. Hayli Gubbi erupted after 12,000 years of quiescence and producing a high energy plume. It produced a high energy plume, and volcanic ash reached 14-kilometer altitude in the upper troposphere plus lower stratosphere. So it reached that high, okay, resulted in 3,700 kilometer long transboundary plume also that entered India and later drifted towards China. So yes, India has also been impacted by it because we also got the ashes, and that also heightened the pollution we already have in India right now. And this has sparked debate. Is global volcanic activity increasing? The question that we had since the very beginning of this video, is global volcanic activity increasing? Let us find out. Moving forward, let's talk about the Mount Semeru, Indonesia. Let us understand what is the case study of Mount Semeru. So this is where Mount Semeru is in Indonesia, and the height of this mountain is 3,676 meter. This is the highest peak on Java, among Indonesia's most active volcanoes. This comes among the Indonesia's most active volcanoes. This is situated on a convergent plate boundary in Indo-Australian plate, subducting under the Eurasian plate. So it subducts under the Eurasian plate, the Indo-Australian plate, and produces frequent Strombolian to Vulcanian eruptions, periodic ash emissions also. And the 2025 eruption is the second major event in 4 years. So it's not like this has happened for the first time. This is the second major event that has happened in 4 years, highlighting persistent magma supply, that there has been magma supply persistently. This highlights that. And intense human exposure due to high population density in Java, plus tourism pressures also. A lot of people have also been visiting Mount Semeru. So that has also, that is another threat that we are facing. Moving forward, let us talk about the Hayli Gubbi volcano, Ethiopia. Now this is a big news. Why? Because Mount Semeru is an active volcano. It keeps on erupting. As we've already talked about that in the last 4 years is the second seismic activity that has happened. But this Hayli Gubbi volcano, this erupted after 12,000 years, which is a very big portion. Let us understand, this is the part of the Erta volcanic range. So it comes to remember these names because these are very important for prelims perspective in the northern Afar region. Okay, and the type is shield volcano. It falls under shield volcano. It has low viscosity, basaltic magma and broad structure, but capable of violent gas driven eruptions also. This is capable of this also, and this is dormant for 12 millennia. That means 12,000 years it was dormant for that time, and indicating a long term tectomagmatic buildup. Now this indicates that since a very long period of time there was a tectomagmatic buildup that was happening inside the volcano, and that is the reason why it has erupted now. And the 2025 eruptions have produced 14-kilometer vertical ash column. We have already talked about it. Significant SO2 release visible on satellite instruments as well. So there have been images from the satellites also that have shown that there were SO2 release also, and ground level ash fall resembling grey snowfall in Andhera district. So in Andhera district also there was ground level ash resembling grey snowfall. Now local impacts have been again breathing difficulties, contamination of water sources, grazing, disruption of livestock. So this is what it happens when there is a volcano eruption. But in India also it has drastic impacts, as it also heightened the pollution we already have in India. Okay, moving forward, let's talk about the Afar triple junction, why Ethiopia is a volcanic hotspot. Now let us understand why Ethiopia is a volcanic hotspot. See, Ethiopia falls under the Afar triple junction. Now what is this Afar triple junction? Please understand, Afar triple junction is where Nubian plate, Somali plate and Arabian plate are diverge from each other. Now here you can see a picture. This is the Nubian plate. Okay, this is the Somalian plate, and then there is the Arabian plate. So they diverge from each other. This is the Arabian plate. They diverge from each other, and that is the reason Ethiopia falls here. So that is the reason why it is a volcanic hotspot, because ground level activities keep on happening inside. Okay, this creates a Y-shaped continental rift. So there is a Y-shaped continental rift that has been created. You can see that. You can see there, part of East African rift system. It falls under the East African rift system. Do remember this for your prelims perspective. And so rifting leads to crustal thinning, then it leads to upwelling of asthenospheric mantle, and then that leads to accumulation of gas rich magma. So this keeps on happening. That's the whole process which leads to high pressure vertical explosive eruptions, which is basically volcanoes. And region represents incipient ocean basin formation also, and analogues to early stages of Red Sea and Gulf of Aden. So you need to remember this rift system, you need to remember these three plates that are there, and the rift system is Y-shaped. All the plates are pulling and pushing each other. That is why there is constant activity on the ground level, and that is why Ethiopia is a volcanic hotspot. Moving forward, let us talk about the long distance transport of ash. Now why am I saying that the ash reached India, Pakistan and even China? So the vertical plume penetrated upper troposphere. As we've already talked about, the plume was so high that it reached 12 kilometer in the upper troposphere and lower stratosphere, and strong westerly winds and southwesterly winds were 100 to 120 kilometer per hour. They transported the ash across Afar from Red Sea, then from Yemen to Oman, then Arabian Sea, and then from Arabian Sea to Gujarat, then Rajasthan, and then Delhi, and then Punjab. So that is how the ashes travelled. There were westerly winds, they were very strong westerly winds, and that is why they travelled till Punjab. The composition of this was SO2 plus fine volcanic ash particles, and detected via satellite spectrometry also. As I've already mentioned, that satellites took pictures and they also saw that there were huge particles of SO2 and fine volcanic ash particles as well. Now, what are the aviation implications? Domestic flights, mostly they were unaffected, and international flights, they intersect potential ash zones. So, they intersected, international flights were affected a little, and IMD confirmed plume exit from India by Tuesday night. So, by Tuesday night, the plume will exit India, and that is again a good news for India. Moving forward, let us talk about are volcanic eruptions increasing globally? Now, the question that we started from, let us talk about that. No, the answer is no. Current geological consensus says no evidence of global increase in eruptions frequency has been noted yet, but it is perceived they are increased due to enhanced satellite based monitoring. Now, earlier there were eruptions, but there was no monitoring of satellite based, and then rapid global media coverage. Now, there is coverage of this media, as soon as this happens, everybody covers the news. That is why it seems like it. Higher exposure due to settlements near tectonic belts. Now, there is higher exposure also near tectonic belts, and better documentation prepared to earlier centuries. Now, there was no documentation earlier. That is why we are feeling that right now the volcanoes are erupting more, but this is not the case. However, tectonically active regions like the Indonesian arc, East Asian rift will continue to show episodic high energy eruptions. So, these eruptions are not going to stop here. They are going to continue, and we will have to bear with it because there are tectonically active regions currently, and this will keep on happening. Moving forward, let us look at the key takeaways. Now, what are the key takeaways for UPSC perspective also? Hayli Gubbi eruption illustrates tectonic, climatic and transboundary dimensions of volcanoes. Then, Afar regions remains a critical zone for studying continental breakup and incipient ocean formation also. Now, these pointers that I keep on highlighting, keep on marking, I want you to take a screenshot of this slide and go through these pointers. Okay, volcanic plumes can travel thousands of kilometers, affecting air quality, aviation and climate, as it happened with India, and then demonstrates global interconnectedness. A remote eruption influences India's atmosphere within 48 hours. So no matter what eruption happens in the world, it will reach different places within a short period of time. And important case study, this becomes a very important case study for GS paper 1, which is geography, and GS paper 3, which is disaster management and environment. All right, now let us talk about the MCQ for revision. We have already covered this topic in multi-dimensional way. We have talked about different tectonic plates. We have talked about why Ethiopia is a volcanic hotspot. We have talked about both the volcanic eruptions that happened in two different places, Indonesia and Ethiopia. Now we are going to talk about this MCQ for revision. Let's see who was listening attentively and who will be able to answer this question in the comment section below. So, the question is, which of the following correctly describes the Afar region where the Hayli Gubbi volcano is located? Now, let us talk about the options. A, it is convergent boundary between the Indian plate and Eurasian plate. B, it is a triple junction where three tectonic plates are diverging. C, it is a hotspot located in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. D, it is formed due to collision between the Arabian plate and the Indian plate, and I have already explained this very thoroughly in the video. So, I think most of you will be able to answer this. Please answer this in the comment section below. Which option do you feel is correct, A, B, C or D? And that is it for today. We have covered the topic multidimensionally. If you enjoyed today's video, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And bye-bye. I will see you in another deep dive video. Until then, bye-bye. Take care.